folks. If you're watching this, you're either probably a 118 Group client already, or you're thinking about engaging us for our services. And maybe we've had a conversation around search engine optimization and specifically local search. And it's kind of a big topic, and there's a lot of pieces to it. And what we generally like to start with is this thing called the audit, which is essentially reviewing all of the data that goes into your website, from search engines to website performance to your competitors. And we dive into it in order to understand where you're at currently today, get some insights, understand kind of the local landscape, and move forward. So I've recommended this as a starting point for our relationship when it comes to search, or a good milestone for us at this point is to review your current performance and see where things are at. Or maybe you're just looking to come on board and we want to first have a full understanding of your performance in your area. So I've probably talked about a local SEO audit, and I think it's valuable to communicate to you what's involved in that, so that it doesn't just feel like there's some stuff happening behind the scenes that you're not really privy to, and then we just pop out a presentation or a report. So I'm going to break it down. I'm going to try and keep it pretty quick, step by step. Here's kind of what we're doing. Here's what we're looking at as part of that audit. And again, I'm going to try and keep this video quick. I'm going to try and, let's skip past all the intro stuff. I'm Dylan, CEO of 118 Group. Okay, so what is local SEO? Local SEO is the practice of improving your brand's visibility in your area for local queries. So, for example, Web Design Cambridge is a local query. It has obviously the location tag on it, and it's a local service. So Google recognizes web design as being a local service that people, a service that people are looking for a local provider with. So even if I just searched web design into Cambridge, it would show me, for example, here, we have Web Design Cambridge, 118 Group Web Design is showing up first. But even if we did web design, without the location tag, so we just did this, it basically uses your local IP and still provides you with local results. And what I mean by that, a local result, is it prioritizes this map over, if I just search general web design, you have Wikipedia, you have Wix, you have like huge brands that you're never gonna compete with, Medium, Smashing Magazine. But in here, when Google gives you that local result, they're gonna show you, they're going to give you a chance to get traffic with your local map pack results. So this is what we're focused on when it comes to local SEO. And certain words and certain keyword combinations load this map pack with Google. Google recognizes that. Others don't. For example, if I did website maker, Google doesn't really understand. It doesn't show you the map pack. So here now I am, competing with Wix, Squarespace, brands that I'll never compete with. So that's the difference between the local queries and the non-local queries. So that's kind of what we're trying to do when we're doing local SEO, is get you ranked on those map packs for keywords that make sense for you, that make sense for your brand. So obviously, why you should care. If you provide a local service, it can be the main way you generate new business. 4 in 5 consumers now use search engines to find local info. Those two alone is a lot of people come to me and my team and they're like, well, it's not a huge driver of business for us, but what I want to emphasize is that it could be. It's very much a driver of business for us and a lot of other clients who have invested in it, who succeed in it. So why you should care is, half of your work could come from it. So 3, it's a zero-sum game. So every time you move up in a ranking, let's say you move up to the third spot person moves down. So there's a finite number of spots that you want to go for, and if you want to start generating traffic, and everybody's trying to get to it. So you have to consider the race effect that creates. And so if you're not investing in it regularly, your competitors are, and so you might continue to get bopped down to the bottom and then therefore become invisible online. So that's all a lot of reasons right there. So high level overview of the process for the local SEO audit. One, we typically start by getting access to your data, and this is a really important step, is to make sure all the data pipelines are open. It's kind of like plumbing, like there's, maybe the data is not coming from the website into Google Analytics, or your search console's not set up, and it's kind of like the equivalent of a clog. So we start by getting access to your data, and if you don't have any data capturing in place, we set that up. That's a separate service that we offer, is making sure that you're set up to capture your Google Analytics traffic, your search console traffic, your business profile is working, and that's we have a process for reviewing that. So we start by either setting it up or getting access to it. Two, we do a high-level analysis of website performance. So we want to see what pages people are looking at, what's the most engaging stuff, how are things trending over time, new users, bounce rates, all that stuff. High-level understanding of your website performance is kind of the second step. We do a comprehensive competitive analysis. So there we'll kind of identify for certain queries that it's obvious you're going after. For example, for us, web design, we'll look at who else is competing in those top spots for those keywords, and we'll do a comparison across the design of their website, their online presence, how long they've been open, their domain authority. We want to know what they have going for them that we don't, and vice versa. It's kind of like a SWOT analysis. So we do that across a couple of local competitors to see if we can identify new opportunities or understand things they're doing that we need to focus on if we want to beat them at their own game. So that's the comprehensive competitive analysis. We identify keyword opportunities, which is basically, like I mentioned about the local keywords. We review all the different options for keywords that drive people to your site, that provide local results, and I'll go through more of that in a later slide. And we optimize the core web pages. So then after we've done all this work, we've identified all these keywords, we then go through and actually optimize the site and the keywords of the site for those. We kind of use those keywords across the site. We make sure the site doesn't have any technical SEO issues at this point, so we're not shooting ourselves in the foot. So high level overview. Access to data. So that's what I said by number one. We need Google Analytics access. We need Google Search Console access and Google Business Profile access. If we can get those three off the bat, typically, we have a hard time getting the Search Console access. But most of the time, Google Analytics and Google Business Profile is okay. And I'll run you through what each of those looks like. And if these are not, like I mentioned, if these accounts are not set up, we go through a setup and data gathering phase before the audit. We'll get all that up, and then we'll spend a few weeks capturing some data, and then we'll do some more review of it. But we need access to the data to build the strategy. So, and that's a separate product. So, Google Analytics, you've probably seen it. It stores data in regards to what users are doing when they land on the site. It also has some data in regards to acquisition, as you can see in the left-hand panel, but it helps you understand page performance. So your views, your users, new users, how they're flowing through the site. Like I mentioned, there is some acquisition devices. Are they getting here through Google Search? Are they going direct? Is there a referral? That's what the Google Analytics information gives us. So it's important that we have access to this. This is how we do kind of the website performance review. Google Search Console. This is Google Search Console stores keyword data for what users searched into Google when they found your website. So for us, the most search queries that got clicks and pushed people to our website is stuff like 118 Group, 118 Group, 118 Group web design. We have this blog post that's it seems to perform very well. Someone used stolen credit card of my business, but it gives you all sorts of data in terms of what people are currently searching and landing on your site, and that allows us to understand what we need to protect and preserve. If you have keywords that are driving success for you and driving clicks to your website, we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? We want to keep that and protect that. So that's really important for us, and that's a separate dashboard than Google Analytics. And then Google Business Profile. This is your Google Business Profile. It's, if you search your name, this is what shows up. You manage this business profile. This is key, because it's associated with a Google account. So some sort of Google profile. And so we'll need someone who has access to, who's associated their Google Business Profile with a Google account to share access to us. And this provides us with data in regards to how visible your local profile is, and how users are interacting with it. So it'll tell us what keywords people are using that that have created visibility for your profile. So if people are using web design and your profile is showing up, that's great. It'll show how many people have seen the profile, how many website clicks you've gotten from the profile. It can tell us, it can let us know, are people seeing you guys, but the profile isn't optimized and that's creating issues, or is this working really well? It's just you're getting lots of clicks once people find it, but you're not getting seen very easily. So these are some of the things we can get out of the Google Business Profile. And when we do that competitive audit across other local providers, this is one of the key things we compare is, how many reviews do you have versus your local competitors? A lot of these things, influence Google's algorithms for rankings. So those are all the different access points we'll need to do our audit. And typically the hardest part of the audit is getting access to everything. Once we have access to everything, we're ready to go. But it can be tricky to kind of figure out how to share us access. So for the website analysis, our team is looking at a few key areas when performing the website analysis. Are you gaining more new users over time, and where are they coming from? What content is getting the most visibility, and what keywords are currently driving the most traffic to the site? This gives us a really good understanding of what people are interested in, why are they coming to the site to begin with. That can influence what you should be saying, what you should be prioritizing, and what are the keywords we want to protect. So really important, the website analysis is obviously critical. The competitive analysis, we identify what local players are competing with your brand for coveted keyword traffic. We compare the online presence of you and your competitors across dozens of criteria. So a lot of that's like, how consistent, how's your website design? How's the UX? How many Google reviews do you have? How long have you had the domain? How many links do you have? What's your domain authority? We look, what is your website optimized? Like we compare all these different criteria to understand what might be the reason someone's succeeding more than us, or if we're the top dog for certain keywords, we understand why, and we understand what we need to strengthen in order to remain the top dog, which is key. And that's the whole strength and weaknesses approach. So we look at what are the strengths and what are the weaknesses for these different brands so that we can kind of fit in nicely. So that's the competitive analysis. As I mentioned, during the competitive analysis, we look at the following things. We look at current ranking for main keyword, your Google Business Profile strength, because the Google Business Profile just plays such a big role in your local search presence that we want to understand. We spend time just looking at that. Age of presence, domain authority, actual design of your website, and the technical optimization. So those are all the criteria we look at to see, why things are, happening the way they're happening. The keyword research, this is this is a really important step, and this is a data heavy step. So this is important because the keywords we select, will decide what kind of traffic you're gonna get. So based on the goals of your business and the current competitiveness of your online presence, we work to identify keyword opportunities to drive new users that might be interested in your offerings to the website. The reason I say current competitiveness is, as you can see, like for example, this is one of our tools, and these are all, we just typed in web design, and then our tool says, all right, here are all the different options for how people search for web design, right? Website design, website designers, web designer, web designs, web designing, web designers, design web, web design company web design. Each of these have, each of these queries return a different list of results, which means we need to decide which of these, versions of this query we want to be focused on in terms of moving our results to the top. And so as you can see, there's a competitiveness level here. And the competitiveness level basically looks at how many other brands are going for those keywords and what their strength is. And then it basically tells us, all right, here's how hard it's going to be to get this to move up in these rankings. If you have a very established online presence, really solid authority, and you've been around in the space for a while, then you can go after higher competition keywords. If you have not invested in your presence in a while and you don't have a lot going for you in terms of momentum, you don't want to invest all of your time and energy in really high competition keywords, because you're going to burn through budget and you're not going to see a lot of progress. So we try and identify that mid-range that is, inside the level of competitiveness that your brand is, ready to fight for, and we go after those. But this is a good example of, here's all the different ways you can even go after web design. So what's good is there's lots of opportunities, because there's all sorts of different ways for people to search things. But what's not good is you have to spend time picking the right one. So that's the keyword research. And then we use that keyword research and we optimize 5 core pages. So we look at your services, we identify the keyword that makes the most sense, the high opportunity keywords for those business objectives and those services, and we implement them on the site. We benchmark the current performance, which is key. So we make sure we understand today where you at, so we can measure progress in the future. And we also just clean up any technical SEO issues that we're seeing with the existing website. So that's kind of the actual on-site optimization things. And yeah, that's kind of the whole process for the local SEO audit. What comes out of that is a deeper understanding of who your competitors are, a deeper understanding of what opportunities arise, some optimization of your website, and you'll be more knowledgeable on what's involved with this stuff. So you'll make smarter investment decisions in the future in regards to where you should be spending your marketing budget. So I hope that was helpful. If you have more questions, just email me, Dylan@118group. We'll get on a one-on-one call and talk through some of this stuff. But our team is always interested in answering questions, performing these audits, and getting you results. So thank you very much.